Rest setting for rounds 1 and 2 of the Stanek Car Series on February 5th. Reigning champion Mike Briggs started on a high note with 2 wins in the Opel Racing Astra. Teammate Grant McCleary provided solid support with a second in round 2. BMW Motorsport has ordered 2 new cars from Germany, but must have been well pleased with the performance of car rookie Sean van der Linde. The BP Nissan Sentras of Nick de Waal and Hannes Grobler showed early potential, with Grobler twice in the points. Toyota start the season with a single Minolta Sprinter, with Serge Damso entrusted with driving duties on his home circuit. Mike White will drive in inland Car Series events. Killarney saw the debut of the Engen VW Jetters with mixed fortunes for the team. Chris Aberdeen's car was damaged in a high-speed crash, but the team was satisfied with an early season development outing. Stanek proudly presents highlights of rounds 3 and 4 of the Stanek Car Series from Zwartkops. The Stanek Car Series brings what has been dubbed as South Africa's formula of the future to circuits throughout South Africa. The Zwartkops festival races on February 19th hosted rounds 3 and 4, and there was a buzz of anticipation at the circuit built around a drive-in theatre on the outskirts of Pretoria. The racing atmosphere generated at Zwartkops was given a little impetus by recent developments on the Satcar front. The formation of an association to run and control the formula, new legislation regarding eligibility of cars, and tyre regulations were grist to the mill.
And we want to grow Satcars to hopefully the most exciting formula that there is in South Africa, based on what's happening in Europe. And therefore we got this association going, and we've also appointed a professional to head it for us. Unfortunately, I can't mention his name at this moment, but an announcement will be made very soon in that regard. The criticism was leveled at us for not having the rules exactly as it is in Europe. And we sat down, we thought about it, and in the end, we think it is in the best interest to open it up, and that's what we've now done. That implies 2 things mainly. Firstly, that any homologated car can participate in Satcar racing. Previously, it was not possible for the Peugeots, Alphas, Renaults, and the likes. Now all of them can compete here. And the second thing is the controversial control tires. Now, control tires in itself is a good thing because you've got a control tire, it's got a huge financial advantages. You don't have to test various compounds and so on. So generally, it's a money saver. However, some of the privateers in Satcars have got sponsors, tire sponsors specifically, who are not the control tire. And the result of that is, of course, that we now exclude them. So we've decided that as far as privateers are concerned, they can use any tire they want. It does not apply to the manufacturers, and I think that's maybe the best solution for both sides.
One of the privateers directly affected by the tire issue was Klerksdorp car dealer Farouk Dangor.
Well, it definitely makes it easier for us because we had sponsors set up from Yokohama. The tires would have been our main costs for the year. And it would have been, from the word go, if that was the rules, we would have been in it already. We had set up by David Leslie's car in England, and we would have had a competitive car, and we had a good sponsor and everything. And, you know, if the rules open now, which I believe the manufacturers decided on, that by the time we can bring a good competitive car, it's already the 4th race of the season. So, you know, is it worth getting involved or not? We've got to think about it.
While Farouk Dangor ponders his future in Satcar, a trip to BMW Motorsport headquarters in Midrand produced a first glimpse of the new BMW 318s, scheduled to make their debut at AA Kyalami on March 12th. The cars feature a sleeker and lower profile, revised suspension layout, and upgraded engines. The arrival of the new cars poses the question of what will happen to the current cars campaigned by factory drivers Dion Joubert and Sean van der Linde. BMW Motorsport manager Jeff Goddard says the cars have been earmarked for privateers and that it's important that they stay in South Africa.
These 2 cars that we're running at the moment, we're hoping to give them to privateers here in South Africa. We feel it's very important that they remain in South Africa and they get fully utilized here to strengthen the formula.
And how soon would that happen?
Well, we're talking to 2 teams already. I think one guy is really wanting to come and try the car straight away, but we're looking towards shakedown trials with privateers with these cars on the 3rd of next month.
From good news for privateers to good news for Mike Briggs, the reigning champion got his season off to a flying start via 2 wins at Killarney. Qualifying sessions for the Stanek Sackcar Series have developed into races within a race. The formula has adopted the IndyCar style of qualifying, with 1 car out on the circuit at a time. The fastest of 2 qualifying laps counts towards grid positions, and drivers draw for the starting order. Young Castrol Futron BMW driver Sean van der Linde was first out of the hat and found himself cast in the role of the hare setting the pace. For van der Linde, the jump from Group N standard saloon car racing to SATCar has been a giant leap.
Obviously, it's a very big step. The car's much quicker than a Group N car. They're much more rigid, and they're much more difficult to drive than a Group N car. It's very tiring, especially physical.
Rival team managers keep a wary eye on the opposition during qualifying. On a short circuit like Zwartkops, a good grip position takes on added importance, and team managers and technical crew stay glued to timing monitors. Experienced Springbok Mike White was carrying the flag for the Minolta Toyota team. White cut his racing teeth on single-seaters and is sharing driving duties with Serge Damso, while Toyota wait for 2 new cars.
The new cars are going to be very good. They are being built in England, and they're going to be very high-tech. I think basically Opels are going to have to do a lot of work to catch up once we get the cars.
While the manufacturers clash head-on in SATCar battle, Cape Tonian Jesse Huggett is the lone privateer. Huggett is campaigning a VW Jetta in the SATCar Junior class, with the car designed and built in Owen Ashley's workshop at the Killarney circuit. For another Cape Tonian, the season has not got off to a good start. Dion Joubert in the Johnson Matthey BMW was in the wars at Killarney. A weekend in the office at Zwartkops also did not get off to a good beginning for the young man who is now based in the Transvaal.
Yesterday we just had a problem with the fuel surge. I think otherwise I could have been not in the front row, but definitely in the second row of the grid.
The Indy-style qualifying format forces drivers to perform on or over the limit in the search for those vital split seconds that can influence grid positions. It also means extra pressure on the drivers, who have to go through a serious mental process to gear up for a head-on confrontation with the stopwatch. The drivers occasionally get it wrong, and a mistake brought a halt to Hannes Krodler's qualifying session.
Ek is bietjie vinnig aan die draai en hy het my bietjie uitgevang. Ek het op die kant van die pad gegaan en met die slicks ruk hy 'n bietjie aan mens en om onder beheer te kry het ek half op die grond gegaan en ek het toe onmiddellik 'n paar wiel gekry en ons kon basies nie verder ry nie.
With Krodler forced to park the BP Nissan Sentra on the side of the circuit, it was left to Nick Duval to uphold team honour. Like his teammate, Duval has wide experience as one of South Africa's leading rally drivers and graduated into SATCar via the ranks of Stanek Group N standard saloon car racing. While Mike Briggs left the pits in the Opel Racing Astra for his battle against the clock, there were anxious faces in the Nissan camp, with team manager Glyn Hall in pensive mood. Briggs got his season off to a dream start with 2 wins in Cape Town, but a fuel surge problem at Zwartkops produced utter frustration for the Port Elizabeth driver.
The racing is so close now, you can't really afford a slip, and in qualifying I had a small problem. I was only running with 1 fuel pump on and going through Bosel, very tight corner, fuel surged, and it cost me a little bit of time. So I was a little bit flustered, and I could really only get 1 good lap in.
For teammate Grant McCleary, happiness was his first outing in the new PG Autoglass Astra.
Look, there are a couple of changes, not only cosmetic, but there's a couple of mechanical changes. It's got the new reverse head on it, which they claim a couple more horsepower. It's got different suspension, the car's lower, but I drove the last car in the end of October last year, so I've just got into this one and I don't really know the differences. It's a lot more twitchy. But looking at the lap times, it's a second lap quicker than the last car, so it's doing something right. You know, it's just so beautiful to drive.
The Engen VW Jetta team was making its second outing of the season, with Terry Motts happy with progress.
Well, the Quattro is being very sturdy, of course, 4-wheel drive, double the horsepower. you've got to think a lot quicker. Things happen a lot faster. In this car, to start off with, they were bouncing and bumping around. We sorted out the suspensions. They're comfortable now. Being front-wheel drive, you get a little understeer. It tends to understeer. But we've coped with those handling problems.
Success first time out for Grant McCleary in the PG Autoglass Opel Astra with pole position ahead of teammate Mike Briggs in the Opel Racing Astra. There was another good performance from Castrol Futron BMW rookie Sean van der Linde, who shared the second row with Nick de Waal in the BP Nissan Sentra. The third row of the grid put fifth fastest qualifier Dion Joubert in the Johnson Matthey BMW alongside Mike White in the Minolta Toyota Sprinter. Electrical problems sidelined the NGen VW Jetta of Chris Aberdeen, but teammate Terry Moss was on the fourth row of the grid with Hannes Hrobler in the second BP Nissan Sentra. Cape Town driver Jesse Huggett in the junior sack car Jetta and the unfortunate Aberdeen completed the field. The now traditional Stanek Sackcar Drivers Parade adds an extra touch of colour to the series. At circuits like Zwartkops, where there's an intimate atmosphere, the crowd enter into the spirit to spur on their favourites. But for the Sackcar pilots, a new problem has reared its head in the form of G-forces, which place a tremendous strain on drivers. Grant McCleary was one driver to suffer.
Well, on our G meters, actually on our computers, we looked at it yesterday, both Mike and myself are pulling 1.95 Gs through Sabet corner. It's the right end onto the straight here. And it's incredible. Both our necks are actually quite sore this morning. The corner's almost flat out. So it's really, really incredible. And I think we got to invest in a couple of neck braces because I've never felt, my neck's never ever got sore. But the car, I believe, is designed to take 1.5 Gs on a flat surface, but because the corner's banked, it's doing a lot more.
Opel race engineer Mike Carroll comments.
The G-force, you can see the scale there. In those areas where it's running on 0, that's obviously a straight. As you can see here, we have the actual corners of the circuit marked out for us. And we have one particular corner here which is very banked, and the cars are putting almost 2 Gs lateral cornering force. So in other words, two times gravity.
We are almost set for the third round of the Stanek Sackcar Series at Zwartkops, with the cars setting off on their warm-up lap. There are plenty of clouds around, but so far, no rain. And as usual, we are able to bring you race cam action from inside the cars. Poleman Grant McCleary has a camera facing backwards from the PG Autoglass Opel Astra. The race cam mounted on Nick de Waal's BP Nissan Sentra is forward-facing, so sit back and enjoy the action.
Well, we're certainly going to try and have a good as possible start. It's a very difficult track to overtake, and therefore the start is going to be very, very important. And we've actually just been experimenting with different EPROMs and the electronics to make the car start better.
We also have a race cam in van der Linde's Castrol Futron BMW, and what a start to his sack car career young Sean has had.
We've done, in this week, a race distance with new tyres, and the times seem to be very good up to the last lap. That's quite a good lap still. So I'm very confident. I think the tyres won't let us down at all.
Toyota will be looking for a good result from Mike White, who will be sharing driving duties with Serge Damso until Toyota's new cars are ready.
I think we'll have to play it by ear, see how things go. And, basically, we're here to learn. And I haven't really finished that many races, so hopefully we can finish a couple of races today and learn a little bit more.
This is Bosel Corner leading onto the main straight, and Moss in the NGen VW Jetta will be looking for a good result.
The idea is to get to the front, of course, and I've done quicker times than I did in my qualifying, and I possibly have the capabilities to get into the middle of the field, have a good tyres, and make things interesting.
The cars are slowly forming up on the grid as we wait for the green light. And there you have the 2-kilometre-long Swartkops circuit on the outskirts of Pretoria West. Grant McCleary and Mike Briggs make it an Opel Astra 1-2 at the front of the grid as the lights turn to green. It's round 3 of the Stanek Sackcar Series at Zwartkops with 18 laps of racing ahead of us. Grant McCleary leads Mike Briggs through total curve for the first time. Sean van der Linde is third with Nick de Waal tucked in behind him. Fifth is Dion Joubert in the second BMW with Mike White on his tail. We are in car with Terry Moss, who is already locking horns with Hannes Hrobler in the BP Nissan Sentra. We have a high-speed sack car train at the end of the Ultimoil Straight with McCleary ahead of Briggs and an Opel 1-2 at the front of the pack. Van der Linde is having to fend off Duval as they head up the hill towards Bosel Corner. Moss and Grobler are still at loggerheads. Moss has the inside line and there's contact between Jetta and Sentra. The leaders come storming through Bosel and onto the Michelin Straight at the end of lap 1. Grant McCleary leads from teammate Mike Briggs with the Opels ahead of Sean van der Linde. Nick Duval, Dion Joubert and Mike White. We pick up race cam action from Mike White in the Minolta Toyota Sprinter. White has Dion Joubert ahead of him in the Johnson Matthey BMW and is looking for a way to get past. McCleary and Briggs are starting to open a slight gap on Sean van der Linde and Nick Duval, who are having a tremendous scrap. Duval tries the inside at Citizen Corner, but young Sean is having none of that. Tremendous action from the Duval race cam as they head up the hill towards Bosel Corner. The leaders come powering through Sabat Corner with a drive-in screen in the background. The order is unchanged with the two Opel Astras out in front. But Nick Duval in the BP Nissan Sentra is making life uncomfortable for young Sean van der Linde in the Castrol BMW. Duval has his eye on third place as they go through the total curve into Continental. And van der Linde has made a mistake. Van der Linde locked up the brakes. Duval is through into third. And van der Linde loses another place as Dion Joubert goes to fourth. Drama up front and drama at the back as Hannes Grobler and Terry Moss continue their private scrap. It's round 3 of the Stanek Sack Car Series at Zwartkops with Grant McCleary leading Opel teammate Mike Briggs. Nick Duval has moved up to third in the BP Nissan Sentra. Dion Joubert is fourth and Sean van der Linde has slipped back to fifth after his mistake at Continental. And right on van der Linde's tail is Mike White in the Minolta Sprinter. The cars are starting to spread out a little. Tyre conservation will be a worry for the drivers as Chris Aberdeen goes into the pits in the Engen Volkswagen Jetta. Lap 8 and the order is unchanged. Opel Astras are 1-2 as Grant McCleary leads Mike Briggs. Oh, and McCleary has gone wide at Continental. Briggs looks as though he's going to go through with McCleary fighting back on the inside. The two Opels are side by side down the Ultimoil Straight. Look at this, with the Astras side by side at over 200 k's an hour. Someone has to give way, but McCleary has the inside line for Citizen Corner. Briggs is forced to tuck in behind McCleary as the leaders head up towards Bosel. Behind the Opels, Nick Duval is still third in the Nissan Sentra. Duval is followed by the BMWs of Dion Joubert and Sean van der Linde, with Mike White 6th and Hannes Grobler 7th. This is round 3 of the Stanek Sack Car Series at Zwartkops as we go to race cam action with Mike White losing 6th place to Hannes Grobler. The Nissan slipped through at Citizen Corner, but White is fighting back. Mike White and Hannes Grobler are locked in battle, but up front, Jesse Huggett on the left of your screen has a horde of very fast machinery coming through to lap him. The marshals were frantically waving at Huggett to move over as the leaders came storming through. At the front of the field, Grant McCleary still leads Mike Briggs, with Nick Duval third, Dion Joubert fourth, and Sean van der Linde fifth. And White and Grobler are still engaged in their own private war. Three laps to go and still Grant McCleary in the PG Autoglass Opel Astra leads teammate Mike Briggs in the Opel Racing Astra. Nick Duval is still third in the BP Nissan Sentra with Dion Joubert right on his heels in the Johnson Matthey BMW. Joubert is attacking on the inside. Joubert is trying to muscle his way through. Oh, and they're both off the circuit. There was contact and Joubert and Duval have taken each other off with 3 laps to go. Let's have a look at that incident from the race cam in the Duval Nissan Sentra. The marshals have managed to extricate the BP Nissan Sentra out of the tyre barrier, and Duval is getting underway. There could be some damage to the front end of the Nissan after Duval thumped into the tyres. The marshals have also managed to move the BMW, so Dion Joubert is also underway, but that incident has put Sean van der Linde up to third. Hannes Grobler is fourth, and Terry Moss fifth in the Jetta. The final lap of round 3 of the third round of the Stanek Sackcar Series at Zwartkops. And here come the leaders with Grant McCleary still holding off Mike Briggs. The two Opals have been locked together throughout the race. And would you believe it? Briggs has given McCleary a little nudge. McCleary locked up the brakes and was forced to go wide. And Mike Briggs has taken the lead with 1 corner to go. Mike Briggs is going to take his 3rd Stanek Sackcar win in a row. And I wonder what's going through Grant McCleary's mind right now. What drama at the end of a terrific race, but Grant McCleary must be fuming as Mike Briggs slowly drives around with the door open, acknowledging the cheers of the crowd. Drama at the death, but victory for Mike Briggs ahead of Grant McCleary, with Sean van der Linde and Hannes Krobler in the points again. Mike White came home 5th, and the Engine VW Jetta team must be happy with Terry Moss's 6th spot. It was all smiles from the drivers on pit lane as they sprayed the traditional bubbly. But there was potential problems for the teams as technicians readied the cars for round 4 of the Stanek Sackcar Series. Ominous storm clouds were brewing and the teams were hauling out their rain tyres.
Pretty well. Yes, certainly we are prepared. There's been rain here almost every day this week, so we certainly have come here with rain tyres. Obviously, if it does rain, the biggest change will be the tyres. We will change suspension settings and brake bias and so on. But the biggest difference between rain tyres and dry slicks is the regulations, because the regulations limit us to 8 tyres for qualifying in the 2 heats. But if we do have rain, then wet weather tyres are in fact free. So while with the slick tyres we are dictated by the regulations to run Dunlop, one of 2 compounds, with the wet weather tyres we are actually free to choose any make of wet weather tyre.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if it rains, because basically in England I did quite a bit of wet racing, and on the whole I've always been very good in the wet.
Stay with us for highlights of round 4 of the Stanek Sackcar Series. Stanek are the proud sponsors of the Sackcar Series. Stanek, your motor vehicle finance specialists. With us, you can go so much further. The battle resumes in round 4 of the Stanek Sackcar Series. The cars are on the line for the start of the 4th round of the Stanek Sackcar Series at Zwartkops. The rain has held off and we are in for a dry race. There's plenty of tension underneath those helmets as the drivers wait for the green light. We're underway with start action from the race cam in Grant McCleary's PG Autoglass Opel Astra. And McCleary's teammate Mike Briggs came flying through the inside of Total Curve to force his way to the front. There's plenty of early traffic as the cars sort themselves out for the dash down the Ultimol straight. Every inch of track is taken up with Nick de Waal trying to find a way past Terry Moss. Lap 1 and Mike Briggs in the Opel Racing Astra is out in front. McCleary, Krobler and van der Linde are all fighting over 2nd place. And McCleary is squeezed out and drops to 4th as they go into Citizen Corner. Moss and de Waal are still locked together. Into Bosel they go, and there's a puff of smoke from the left front of the Jetta. And Moss has spun out and was clipped by the de Waal Centra. Briggs leads from van der Linde and Krobler, and there is smoke pouring from the McCleary Opel Astra as the field streams through Bosel and onto the start-finish straight. Let's take a look at Terry Moss spinning out in the Engine VW Jetta and see if we can pick up what happened. Coming out of Bosel, Terry has Grant McCleary ahead of him when he gets a wake-up call as Nick de Waal gives him a gentle tap. Terry Moss is a pretty forceful character, and it's probably just as well we don't have the drivers wired for sound. There's probably some choice language flying around in that car right now. Back to the race, and that's Mike White's Toyota being wheeled away after it broke a drive shaft on the start line. Sean van der Linde in the Castrol Futrum BMW chases after Mike Briggs. Hannes Krobler is 3rd with Grant McCleary 4th in the PG Autoglass Astra. Nick de Waal is 5th with Dion Joubert 6th in the 2nd BMW. This is 4th round action from the Stanek Sackcar Series at Swartkops near Pretoria. Round 3 winner Mike Briggs is out in front in the Opel Astra with Sean van der Linde and Hannes Krobler doing the chasing. Mike Briggs leads the pack through Bosel Corner with Van der Linde in hot pursuit, followed by Hannes Krobler and Grant McCleary, who's in trouble. There's the smoke again from the front of the PG Autoglass car as they come through Bosel. This is race cam action from the McCleary PG Autoglass Opel Astra, and he definitely has a problem. The car has slowed right down and Hannes Krobler is disappearing into the distance. McCleary keeps looking down at his feet as though something has broken. It must be the accelerator cable. What a blow for McCleary. It looks as though his day at the races is over as he gently steers the Astra off the circuit. Lap 5 of 18, and Briggs leads in the Opel Astra with Sean van der Linde second in the BMW. The Nissan Sentra pair of Hannes Krobler and Nick de Waal are third and fourth. Dion Joubert is fifth in the second BMW, with the leading group lapping Terry Moss, who must have some sort of problem after his spin on lap 2. This is round 4 of the Stanek Sackcar Series from Zwartkops, and Mike Briggs looks to be on track for his 4th successive win in the series. Sean van der Linde has broken the lap record and is second in the Castrol BMW, with the Nissans of Hannes Krobler and Nick de Waal still third and fourth. We're riding with Dion Joubert, who also looks to have a problem in the Johnson Matthey BMW. The BMW took a mighty thump when Joubert and Nick de Waal went off in the third round, and there still might be some slight damage to the car that's affecting the handling. Dion Joubert is having a battle to get past the Engen VW Jetta of Terry Moss, who's already been lapped by leader Briggs, Van der Linde and the two Nissans. Moss is hanging on to Joubert's tail as they go through Bosel Corner. Notice the sequential gearbox on the Jetta with the gear shift mounted on the steering column. The cars are approaching Sayback Corner and the BMW has suddenly pulled away from the Jetta. Joubert has made the break he needed and Moss isn't happy. The penultimate lap of round 4 of the Stanek Sackcar Series at Zwartkops, and Mike Briggs still leads from a hard-charging Sean van der Linde. Nick de Waal has swapped places with teammate Hannes Krobler and is now third. Van der Linde is not allowing Briggs to get away from him, and we could be in for another grandstand finish. Dion Joubert is fifth ahead of Chris Aberdeen in the second Jetta, who missed the third round through mechanical problems. Aberdeen will be pleased to get a full race under his belt, with the leaders now on their last lap, and still Briggs leads from Van der Linde, de Waal and Krobler, who is in the points again. Through Citizen Corner for the last time, and this is Van der Linde's last chance to catch Briggs. He isn't close enough to challenge the Opel under braking for Bosel Corner, and Briggs looks to have another Stanek Sackcar victory in the bag. Through Sayback Corner for the last time, and Van der Linde is not giving up the chase in the Castrol Futron BMW. de Waal is third and Krobler fourth as on go the lights, and Mike Briggs acknowledges the checkered flag and his 4th Sackcar victory in a row this season. Another double for reigning Sackcar champion Mike Briggs, but Sean van der Linde pushed him all the way and did nothing to damage his growing reputation. The BP Nissan team will also be happy with Hannes Krobler once again in the points. 5th place went to Dion Joubert, with Chris Aberdeen scoring his first point of the season. A happy trio of drivers after their lap of honour, and another great performance from Mike Briggs.
Good race for me. I managed to get a bit